Hello there. Welcome to another board meeting recap. Today I'm going to be recapping our July 18th board meeting. So as usual, we start here from our district website, hover over About Us, and you click on Board of Trustees. And right here is how you get your access to board docs. And you can also see recaps from past board meetings right there, as well as other information that relates to our school board of trustees. So we're going to click on board docs. And then from here, we will go to meetings and expand down to the July 18th meeting. Click here to see the agenda, and here is our agenda. At that meeting, we went straight into action items. We didn't have any presentations or anything like that from the public. So we went straight into our discussion and action items. So the first one there was a discussion and acceptance of board goals. And so moving forward for the next 3 years, kind of to coincide with our strategic plan, the Board of Trustees had previously held several workshops to develop these goals. And these are the goals that were decided upon. You can see them right here. I'm not going to read each one, but essentially their mentality there was we want to keep increasing our ELA scores, which are our English language arts scores, literacy scores, as well as mathematics scores, as measured by both the SBAC, which is our state accountability test, and our MAP growth reading assessment, which is kind of an interim assessment we take throughout the year. So the objective here is we want to make gains from losses that happened during COVID and the time immediately after that. And so those are the percentages that were presented. There was a period of time made available to the public to give their opinions on those goals, and so the goals were accepted. There were a couple little minor tweaks to the language. Those things are noted here in the voting down below, but we got those changed, and these are now the goals for the board moving forward, and their objective will be to help make decisions that help support those goals. So that was that first item. The next one is 2.02, which was a discussion of a Board of Trustees governance manual. And that is a manual that very specifically is just there to help guide school board of trustee members to know what their role is, how they can carry out their role the best way possible, what their responsibilities are, kind of what their guardrails are, just information to help orient a board member to their job and responsibilities as a board of trustees member of a school district. There were a number of different suggestions for edits, and so that is still in development. But it was a good kind of first discussion there with everybody. You can see that draft by clicking on this document here, but there will be more to come in the future with that. The next one, 2.03, was a approval of an MOU, or a memorandum of understanding, between our school district and the Boys and Girls Club of Elko. And that MOU was approved unanimously, and the purpose of that MOU was just to help kind of delineate some details of how we can help each other as we move into this new school year, and how we will support one another in that way, and share some responsibilities, both financially and otherwise. And so that was approved. 2.04 was approval of our 5-year capital improvement plan. This is a yearly action that takes place usually in July. That plan is approved by the board, and then in August that plan goes before the county debt commission. And so that capital improvement plan was approved. You can click on this link here to see the plan in its entirety. But essentially, it's important to know that plan was show some projects that we'll definitely be working on over this next school year, and then kind of making predictions and projections out for the 4 years after that, based on what we know about funding that we have, and what we hope or anticipate in funding in the future. And those decisions were all made on a based off of our MGT facilities assessment report that was done this last year. And then it also, there was a committee put together with representatives both from within the school district as well as community members throughout our entire county that were a part of that committee, and they helped kind of give opinions and input into what needed to be on that capital improvement plan, and this is the product of that. 2.05 was a policy that previously had been discussed at the board meeting before, and at this meeting was then approved. And this policy helps delineate what a school district employee can do in terms of employment outside of the school district if it relates to the job they do for the school district. So it's to wrap it up, it's to help avoid conflicts of interest among school district employees and make sure we're being very transparent there. The next one, 2.06, was approval of the policy JGG, which was our suicide prevention policy. This was a policy that had been in the works for about a month or a little more than that for the prior couple of board meetings, and a lot of input from community organizations and mental health professionals and our own district staff that worked on this, and that policy was approved, and you can view it in its entirety right here where it says JGG final. So that policy was approved. The next one was a bid asking for acceptance of a bid for the fiscal year 24 asphalt maintenance project, which includes 7 different sites across the district. This is another annual thing we do. We have our sites all on a rotation over the course of years, and so it was just approval of bid to Superior Services. The next one, 2.08, was permission to go out to bid for the reconstruction of the approach for Spring Creek High School. Anyone who has been around the Spring Creek High School entrance since the end of our harsh winter would have noticed a lot of damage done to that area. And so this isn't routine maintenance, but rather a total reconstruction of that approach. So we asked for permission to go bid for that to see how much that would cost, and that permission was granted, and we took the next steps there. The next one, 2.09, this one was not did not have any action take place at that meeting. It was a first viewing of this policy, and this is changes to JBA. So this is not a new policy, but rather changes to an existing policy, and those changes were made to reflect some of the new changes in legislation from this last legislative session. So the state did have a bill come out that changed when kindergarten, the start age for kindergarten, and make some requirements there. So we had to adjust our policy to match that, and so that was included here for that first viewing. And then the same concept applies for 2.10, which was changes to policy GDB02, which just had some very basic language updates that had to take place because of our change from a 5-day to a 4-day school week to just match the number of days and hours that was within the language in that policy. So those were both viewed, but no action was taken because they were both for first viewing, and discussion happened about both of them. The final little bit of business was that we did receive updates from 2 of our departments here at central office. One of those was our facilities and construction department, and the other was our information technology department. And both of them just gave updates on the various projects they're working on, progress towards being ready for the start of the school year, and projections for what they'll be working on here and during the next quarter before they report back. And that was the meeting on July 18th. This meeting, of course, can be viewed in its entirety on our Elko County School District YouTube channel, but that is the recap